said I was done doing ranking all of the Doctor Who classic writers who had 5 stories or more. Just kidding. Hello guys, welcome, or if you've already seen my channel before, welcome back. I am the Philadelphia Whovian, and previously on my channel, I was doing a series of videos where I ranked the stories of classic Doctor Who writers who had done 5 stories or more, and they contributed to the awesomeness that was Doctor Who, and is still continuing to be Doctor Who. And without these writers, Doctor Who would not be what it is today. And among those was Robert Holmes, Terry Nation, Terrance Dicks, Malcolm Hulke, David Whittaker, Bob Baker, and Dave Martin, and Eric Saward. And now we're going to be doing another ranking, possibly my last one, unless there's another writer who comes out of the woodwork and it turns out he did 5 stories. And this one is Dennis Spooner. Okay, Dennis Spooner is a very overlooked Doctor Who writer, but he did contribute 5 stories. I checked. It turns out one of his stories was uncredited, but he did write part of the story. So, because of that, I can now do a whole video on him. And again, he is a very good writer. Because of him, so much of Doctor Who has been shaped because of his style of writing. So without further ado, let's get right into this. At number 5, we have The Reign of Terror. It's the very last story of the first Doctor's first season. So it's the last story of this iconic show and Doctor Who of season 1, the very beginning. And the Reign of Terror takes place when the Doctor is trying to get Ian and Barbara, 2 of his companions, back to their own time. They land on Earth and they're all excited, like, he's like, I got them back to Earth. Yeah, he got them back to Earth, but he got them back to Earth during the French Revolution, where everything is dangerous. I mean, literally, Ian and Barbara and Susan, they're in constant danger a lot. The Doctor's trying to get them out of that situation. They're trying to get themselves out of the situation. And it ends up being a very cool historic piece. I know some people don't really, they don't really think the historic pieces in the first Doctor's era are very entertaining. I think some of them are very entertaining, and this is one of them. Next we have up as number 4. Again, this is the one where he got it's written by another writer, but he wrote on it a bit, so it does count as his work, somewhat. I don't know the extent that he wrote on it, but it doesn't matter. You wrote on something, you wrote something. It helps. It does help. So you still are a credited writer. And this was the first story of the second Doctor's era, the very first story, The Power of the Daleks. I believe it was written by David Whittaker, but Dennis Spooner did contribute some writing to it, which makes sense. It's a 6-parter, and it's the first story of the second Doctor, so of course they're going to want to add some more people to it. So David Whittaker gave a great script, but I'm sure that on the fly, Dennis Spooner probably did contribute somewhat to it as well. And The Power of the Daleks is a painful situation in the sense that it's a fantastic story. And it's completely missing, and it was reanimated, but it was not given the best animation due to the time constraints that were put on the animation team. So it's unfortunate because it's such a great story, but we'll never have it. But David Whittaker did a great job writing it, and whatever Dennis Spooner did to contribute to it, I'm happy he did because it's a very good story. Next we have up is, well, this one I just popped it in because of a collection of lost episodes that I got, if you catch my drift, of classic Doctor Who between William Hartnell and Patrick Troughton. And I was so happy to find out that 3 of the missing episodes from this fully missing story were still intact. It wasn't until I saw one of the episodes, I was like, oh my god, Dennis Spooner wrote part of this story too, and that is the Daleks' Master Plan. Okay, the part that I read in novel form was written by Terry Nation, and 2 of the 3 surviving episodes, I believe, are written by Terry Nation, but there's one surviving episode written by Dennis Spooner. And it's great, but what's also amazing is that because I cannot afford to own the Time Meddler, which has a character in it in the Daleks' Master Plan, this is my first time owning something that had the meddling monk in it. And I was like, oh my god, it's the meddling monk. It's the monk from the Time Meddler. Oh my god, it's a fellow Time Lord. I cannot believe this. This is absolutely incredible. Yes! And therefore, I was so excited when I was seeing it. Now, as much as I want to put this higher, here's the thing, I can't. Because of the simple fact that I've only saw one episode of it for all I know. The other episodes could not be as great as the one episode I did see, which I thought was awesome. And it shows how epic. The Dalek Master Plan shows how epic Classic Who could really be when it was being fully ambitious. And it was ambitious with the Daleks' Master Plan. This story was large. It was epic, probably the largest story Doctor Who's almost ever done. And it was mostly not saved. I know it's painful, right? It's really painful, guys. What can you do? So I'm taking a risk here and putting it this high because of the one episode I did see of Dennis Spooner's contribution to the Daleks' Master Plan was awesome, but I have not seen the rest, so I just don't know where to put it. But I want to think his writing was consistently good throughout. Now we have number 2. Number 2, I'm putting it higher than the Daleks' Master Plan because I saw all of this, and it was excellent. From the First Doctor's second season, The Time Meddler. This is the one we have the First Doctor with Vicky and with Stephen Taylor. They're excellent, and we first get to see the meddling monk. Awesome. Precursor to the idea of the Master, where you have a character, an alien, with a TARDIS, who is almost like a match for the Doctor. Or practically is a match for the Doctor, and he gets in the Doctor's way, annoys him, and has this vendetta against him almost, because he's like, Doctor, I will, at the end of the Daleks' Master Plan, he's like, Doctor, I will get you for this. It's very like a precursor to the Master. He was the Master before the Master ever was, ever was created. So the Time Meddler was just a magical time for me. I wish I could own the Time Meddler. I wish I could own it so much, but I can't because it's usually $74 here in America. Yes, fun times. My God, it's fun times. And then we get down to our number 1 of Dennis Spooner's. One of my favorite, if not my chief favorite, stories of the First Doctor's era, The Romans. Okay, The Romans to me set the precedent of how good a historic story could be. The element of comedy, tragedy, it's kind of a tragic comedy, and it's just a fun romp, but also the idea of the Doctor literally causing or inspiring a tragic event, as the Doctor will go on to do even more as the show progresses. But being forced to be a part of something because history has to unfold the way it does. The Romans introduces so many elements that work together, and this is where we see once again how good Vicky was at making the First Doctor, played by William Hartnell, even better than he ever was before. They are a fantastic team together. Ian and Barbara are amazing together. I love those two. They're excellent, but there's something about Vicky really just channels the awesomeness or the beauty of the First Doctor. She brings it out in a way that you think Susan would have brought it out, but Vicky brings it out even more. And this is my video on my ranking of Dennis Spooner's stories. Again, 5 stories, and I think he is actually another overlooked writer who was very good at what he did and really helped shape Doctor Who. So guys, have you ever seen a Dennis Spooner episode? I hope you have. If you have, did you have one you really, really loved? There's something about Dennis Spooner's writing, did it really speak to you? Or do you not like Dennis Spooner? If you don't like Dennis Spooner, that's perfectly understandable. We all have our preferences, and I'm not going to judge you for having those. Thank you guys so very much. I'll see you again very soon. Peace out, guys.